representing the very small but very important project which is called NordicOER. And the intention or the idea is to bring together the Nordic countries and try to make a conversation about what could make OER spread in our countries, because we are not very well equipped with OERs in Swedish, Norwegian, Faroe Island, Finnish, and so on, but we should be. And we are doing networking, we are doing analysis, we are doing reports, blogs, and stuff. But what I thought I could try to contribute here today is a perspective on a very technical matter on OER. I think that's lacking in the discussion, and it's needed. And if you go to our website, you will find that there is a blog post with a title, Adopting OER in Less Used Languages. We need hard talk on tools and infrastructure. Hard talk is because infrastructure is hard, but also we need to have a serious debate on this. So, what is the message? Well, it's from the inspiration is from discussions on open software. What can we learn from open software? Which is the success? I mean, you're using open software, everybody in the room. And why isn't that success kind of repeating itself in the domain of open education resources? Well, there are some lessons, and this is stolen in a good open way from my friend Scott Wilson, he's working on open source watch in the UK. He says, and I'm repeating that it's not what you share, but how you share it. We have been too focused on the different aspects or looking at the result, the content, but we should focus more on how is this shared, how is it created, how is it authored, because it's the authoring process that's important, especially for small languages, because we need to revise, we need to adapt, we need to take all the bits and pieces and put it together. And that is a very different process than just getting the final resources and use them. So in order to achieve that, we should always provide source code. I mean, that's essential when you're talking about open source software development, but it's as essential when you are talking about open education as resources. Because if you have something that's very well put together, works very well, and you want to adapt it, and every experience is that teachers, they want to adapt, then you need to have something to work from. And if you meet a kind of closed shop, a closed program, a closed document, you're going nowhere. And that is extremely important for less used languages or small languages and cultures. So infrastructure to support the development process is important. But then when you look at the tools you got, your word processes and so forth, it's not a very good tool for handling lots of stuff. Because it's not in sync, it's all over the place, and we need some real good software to facilitate this kind of revising and adaptation process, and it's not there, and it should be. Another recommendation is also to say something about what open education resources are and not. And what I'm starting to realize is that an open education resource is not just an open resource. It's an open resource with a very open license. If it isn't good for less used languages and what we want to do with it. And so, in effect, a non-commercial clause is not very workable, and not share alike is not very workable. You need the most open resource. And that is what the cultural sector has realized now. I mean, if you look at Europeana and the other kind of the cultural museums sector, they use the most open license. Everything else is just complicated and messy. So that's a lesson. And of course, you shouldn't use proprietary software in order to address or use open education resources, neither authoring or production or consumption of it. So these are some very hard lessons that should be learned. So, in summary, what is essential for small languages is revising. We revise. We use and revise. If so, we need to look upon open education resources as data, in the same way as open data movement and open source movement, for that matter, are doing it. So we have a lot to learn from others. That's my contribution today.